The scene was picture perfect. My husband was busy cooking dinner in the kitchen, a silhouette of the ideal family man. He had his sleeves rolled up, humming some pop song, and the aroma of garlic and herbs filled our expensive Seattle apartment. He was the perfect husband, wasn't he? Just then, his phone, resting innocently on the granite countertop, lit up. The screen displayed a single, devastating notification. Madison, I miss you, my love. I didn't ask. I didn't scream. I just replaced him. I silently walked up to his phone, lifted it, and typed a quick reply. Me, as Andrew. Come over. The old lady is out of town. 10 minutes later, the doorbell rang. When I opened the door and saw the person standing there, Andrew froze. And then I knew. Tonight, I would take over the hosting duties for both the guest and the host. I remembered that night vividly, a night that, from the outside, anyone would have thought I was the happiest woman alive. I was sitting at the end of our marble dining table, my phone propped up, live streaming my beauty product sales. Hundreds of comments flashed across the screen. Emily, you look so gorgeous tonight. What cream are you using? Close 2 bottles for me, please. I smiled professionally. From the kitchen, the pleasant clatter of pots and pans was accompanied by my husband singing. Honey, my Portuguese seafood stew is almost done. I guarantee it's exactly the way you like it, Andrew called out. See everyone? I chuckled, turning the camera slightly towards the kitchen. My husband is going all out tonight. You can call him the kitchen prince. Andrew stood with his back to me, the steam blurring the glass on the cabinets. His blue button-down shirt was rolled up to his elbows. To an outsider, I was blessed. A handsome, thoughtful husband who cooked. A flawless modern American family. I held the camera for a few more seconds, and then my gaze drifted unconsciously along his collar. That was when my heart gave a tiny, cold lurch, a faint, almost invisible smudge of lipstick, a dark, muted berry red. Not my shade. I never wore that tone. The smile on my face faltered for the barest fraction of a second, so subtle that only I could feel the shift. But inside my head, memories exploded like a fast-forwarded film. The strange, cheap vanilla perfume on his jacket last month, the hastily ended phone call when I walked into the room, and the overly intimate text from the intern. I regained my composure instantly. All right, everyone, I'm going to end the stream here. Have a wonderful night. I killed the live feed. The smile vanished immediately. The reflection on the dark screen of my phone showed a strange woman looking back at me. A woman trying to hold it together, pretending. I waited a few heartbeats, then stood up, walking slowly towards the kitchen. The closer I got, the clearer the red smudge became. I stood directly behind Andrew, staring at the back of the man I had been with for 6 years. Almost done? My voice was low, neutral. Just about. You go sit down, I'll bring it right out. That was when the doorbell rang again. The sharp, persistent sound shattered the cozy illusion of our dinner. Andrew frowned, still holding the wet kitchen towel. Who is that? Did you order something? I quickly walked past him, placing a hand on his shoulder to stop him. No need. You stay in the kitchen and finish those last 2 dishes. I'll get it. I moved slowly to the front door. When the door swung open, I saw Madison. She was wearing a tight black dress. Her lips painted the exact same berry red as the smudge on Andrew's collar. She held a fancy birthday cake box, the whole picture screaming, aristocratic birthday party. The sweet, cloying scent of her perfume assaulted my senses, making me feel slightly nauseous. She smiled, her voice high and chirpy. Andrew, I'm here. She choked mid-sentence when she saw me blocking the doorway. The smile vanished. Her face jerked slightly as if slapped by cold water. Her feet froze, and I noticed the hand holding the cake box visibly tremble. I offered a bright, terrifyingly sweet smile. Madison, right? Hello? Please, come in. Perfect timing. We were just about to eat. I stepped aside, offering a perfectly courteous invitation. Madison hesitated, her eyes darting around, clearly hoping Andrew would appear. Standing face to face with me, his official wife, her eyes were those of a child caught stealing a cookie. She mumbled, stepping inside. I led her straight into the living room. She trailed behind me, her gaze continuously shooting towards the kitchen. I heard it was your birthday, so I stopped by to wish you well. She held out the cake box, her eyes still flicking to the rear, hoping for Andrew to emerge and rescue the situation. I took the cake box gently, but my eyes never left her pale face. That is so sweet of you, Madison. Thank you, but I'm just a little curious. Who told you it was my birthday? Andrew is doing a small dinner for me, but it's actually next week, I asked, my voice laced with honey. Madison froze. Her face turned pale, her mouth opening and closing without sound. Her hands shook so much she nearly dropped the cake. Just then, Andrew emerged from the kitchen, a platter of food in his hands. Seeing Madison standing in the middle of the living room, his composure utterly evaporated. He nearly dropped the dish. Madison, what are you doing here? His voice was shaky. He didn't know whether to look at his wife or his lover. I turned to my husband, my voice light and innocent. Honey, Madison came to wish me a happy birthday. She even brought a cake. Isn't that thoughtful? Such a nice girl. I turned back to Madison, my smile unwavering. Or, were you here to see Andrew? My husband? The question hit her like a bullet to the chest. Her body shuddered. She avoided my eyes, her hands clenching the cake box. She couldn't speak. I spoke again, the perfect hostess. Please, everyone, sit down. I'll make us some tea. Chloe, darling, come help me with the drinks, will you? Chloe gave me a confused look but got up and followed me. Andrew, still in shock, slowly pulled out a chair, his hand trembling slightly. Madison hesitated, then timidly sat on the edge of the couch. In the kitchen, I opened the wooden cabinet and took out 2 pristine white porcelain cups, the ones reserved for important guests. I arranged them neatly on a tray. Then I bent down to the cupboard under the sink and pulled out a thin, clear plastic cup, the disposable kind we used for mouthwash. Chloe's eyes widened. She whispered, Sis, you're going to make her drink tea out of that plastic cup? I didn't look at my sister, just gave a faint smile. A disposable cup is fitting for things that just come and go. You take the tray out first. Chloe went ahead looking flustered. I followed, setting the teacups down slowly. The 2 expensive porcelain cups were placed in front of Andrew and me. The plastic cup went right in front of Madison, neither quickly nor slowly. Madison flinched. She looked down at the plastic cup, her lips tight. She lightly touched the cup but dared not lift it. The distinction was too blatant to ignore. I sat down, my voice light. Please, everyone, have some tea. Oh, and this. I took out my phone, tapped a few times, and pretended to dial. Jane, it's Emily. We're having a small dinner party here. Could you come over for a cup of tea and a catch-up? Yes, Madison. Andrew's intern is here too. Please come. I'd love for you to join us. I glanced at Andrew and Madison as I spoke. Their faces instantly went white. Jane was not only their direct boss, but also my cousin, a woman known for her strict adherence to corporate ethics. Andrew spoke up first, his voice frantic and pleading. Emily, come on, it's too late. We shouldn't bother Jane. I cut him off, my voice still sweet as syrup. Nonsense, darling. Jane loves a lively atmosphere, right, Madison? I looked straight into her eyes, unblinking. Madison was stiff, pinned to the couch. Her eyes blinked rapidly, trying to hide the panic rising in her throat. She opened her mouth but couldn't utter a sound. Less than 10 minutes later, the doorbell rang again. I got up and opened it. Jane walked in, tall and impeccably dressed despite the late hour. Her eyes swept from me to Andrew, then settled on Madison, who was huddled in the corner. Well, look who's here, Jane said, surprised. Madison, what are you doing here? As Jane's gaze turned scrutinizing, I knew the psychological play I had orchestrated was taking effect. Madison bowed her head. I came to wish Emily a happy birthday. I laughed, cutting her off, and raised my teacup. Yes, Madison even knew Andrew was giving me an early birthday dinner, Jane. They must be such close colleagues, aren't they? Andrew went rigid, sweat starting to bead on his forehead. He bowed his head, avoiding Jane's eyes. Jane was in HR, and she was my cousin. He looked as if he knew his every sin was about to be exposed. Madison was sitting between 3 women, me, with eyes sharp as razors, Chloe, who was discreetly ensuring the camera hidden in her purse was still rolling, and Jane, who had the power to destroy Madison's fledgling career in a single Monday morning meeting. I smiled gently. Tell me something fun, everyone. I'm bored staying at home all day with my live streams. How about we talk about Andrew and Madison's work? I hear the two of you have been working together very closely, haven't you? Madison shrank into the couch. I observed every expression on her face intently: fear, confusion, and now desperation. I broke the silence again. Andrew, darling, I'm craving an apple. Could you peel one for me? Andrew flinched. He looked up at me, his eyes betraying his discomfort, but he silently got up and went to the kitchen. A moment later, he brought out a neatly peeled and sliced apple on a small plate and offered it to me. Here you go, sweetheart. I didn't reach out for it. I tilted my head, giving him a cool, faint smile. Feed it to me, Andrew. He froze. He glanced at Madison and saw her eyes downcast, her hands clenching the plastic cup so tightly her knuckles were white. Andrew hesitated for a second, then raised his hand. The apple slice touched my lips. I opened my mouth and slowly bit into it, chewing deliberately for a long time. Then I turned to Madison, smiling. My husband is so gallant, isn't he? You must not be used to this, Madison. He always spoils his wife like this at home. Madison didn't reply. Her face flushed instantly, then quickly turned an ashen white. She hurriedly grabbed the cake, putting a piece in her mouth like a drowning person clutching a life raft. She chewed slowly, then put the cake down, her eyes red-rimmed. I leaned forward, my voice full of concern. What's wrong, dear? Doesn't the cake suit your taste? Or are you feeling unwell? Jane immediately followed up, her voice cold but professional. You do look quite pale, Madison. Are you tired from working too closely with Andrew? I hear he's been having some stomach issues lately. It must be hard working so late. Madison looked up as if hypnotized. She thought this was her chance to show concern. Her mouth opened and the words gushed out. Oh, no, I'm fine, Jane, and Andrew is much better now. I bought him a special bottle of turmeric and honey. He said that when he drinks it, he feels... Her voice broke off mid-sentence. Her face turned rigid. I burst out laughing. That's rich. I live in the same house and cook for him every day, and I didn't even know my husband had a stomach ache. But you, an intern, know such intimate details that you even buy him medicine. You are so caring. I'm almost jealous. Andrew sprang up abruptly, his chair scraping harshly against the floor. Emily, don't get the wrong idea. It's just... I slammed my hand down on the table, my voice hardening. Sit down. I pulled my phone out of my pocket, my movements slow but certain. Wrong idea? What about this? I opened the screen and displayed it for all of them to see. This is a screenshot of the message your intern sent you just now. I miss you, my love. I replaced you, Andrew. I sent the message inviting her over. I scrolled further. And this, a photo of the tickets to the late-night movie. The day you told me you had an urgent meeting with a client. Madison looked at the screen, her face ghostly white. Andrew didn't look at the phone anymore. He buried his face in his hands, realizing my setup. He stopped fighting. Emily, I'm sorry. Madison and it was just a fleeting crush. You know you're the one I love. She was the one who kept pursuing me, Emily. I swear I didn't cheat on you. And just as everyone fell silent because of that pathetic confession, a laugh erupted. A bitter, sarcastic, and ear-piercing laugh. I turned. It was Madison. The red lipstick was smudged around her mouth. Tears streamed down her face, but there was no shame. Only a fierce, contorted resentment in her eyes. She gritted her teeth, tossing her head back. A fleeting crush, Andrew? You've got guts. Wasn't it just a fleeting crush when you told me about the map-shaped birthmark on your lower back? Was it a fleeting crush that made you take me to Tony's for that special cheesesteak every Saturday morning for 4 months? And what about the diamond necklace you gave me? You said it was a token of our eternal love. Was that just a product of a fleeting crush too? I said nothing, my eyes fixed on her. Andrew's face was utterly white. He looked like a man standing before a tidal wave, terrified and helpless. Madison, shut up, you're insane, Andrew yelled. Emily, don't listen to her. I swear. Swear what? She spun around to face me, her eyes full of disdain. Do you trust his oath? What are you dreaming of, you old hen who can't even give him a child? She tilted her head, her voice slow and venomous. My best youthful years were spent enjoying Andrew. He financed me, cared for me, treated me like a queen. Can you say the same? I froze for a moment, then responded with a cold, contemptuous smile. He financed you? I stood up, walking slowly towards the tea table, my arms crossed. Did you ever wonder what he used to finance you with? Was it his $60,000 salary, the one he had to beg me for an extra $2,000 every month to pay his mortgage? Or was it the corporate credit card that I personally co-signed for, which he used to take you out, buy you gifts, and pay for that Vegas trip I thought was a business meeting? I laughed coldly. You didn't know, did you? Everything he used to finance you, from the flowers to the diamond necklace, from the lipsticks to the plane tickets, was my money, his wife's money. You must feel so special, living off another woman's back while thinking you were a queen. I stepped right in front of Madison, stopping, my voice dropping, the knife finally out of the sheath. If so, then fine. I'll consider that money the price to buy back those few years of your youth. It wasn't cheap, was it? Madison flinched, trembling all over. I stared straight into her eyes, emphasizing every word. Do you feel like a bought item yet? She gasped, her voice high-pitched. So what? It's your money, so what? You old foolish woman who let her husband spend her money on another woman, and you're standing here boasting? Chloe, slapping Madison. Shut your filthy mouth, you brazen homewrecker. How dare you speak so loudly after ruining someone else's family? Madison shrieked, clutching her face. Andrew rushed to her. Madison, are you okay? But before he could touch her, another slap landed hard across Andrew's face. This time from Jane. And you, Andrew, you pathetic, dishonorable man. Eating your wife's food, living in her house, spending her money, and using it all to finance a mistress. You don't deserve to be called a man. Andrew staggered back, collapsing into the chair, holding his head and groaning. I stood there, calm. Everything had happened exactly as planned. Chloe, Jane, stop. Don't dirty your hands. This is not the time for cheap theatrics. I didn't wait for a response. I walked slowly towards the dining table. The seafood stew was still warm, the aroma lingering, but to me, it smelled only of the bitter tang of betrayal. I stood silent for a moment, then picked up the pot of stew. Do you remember, Andrew? When we first dated, you cooked this stew for me. You said your love for me was as warm and nourishing as this dish. I walked over to the kitchen sink and opened the trash lid. But now it's rotten, just like your love. Once it's tainted, the only way is to throw it away. With that, I dumped the entire pot of stew into the trash without hesitation. The heavy liquid splashed down. The beautiful aroma was suffocated by the smell of garbage, the very smell of the rotten feelings I had tried to preserve for too long. Silence descended upon the room. Madison sat sobbing on the floor. Andrew buried his head in his hands, motionless. I turned to Chloe. Chloe, please pack all my belongings. We're leaving now. Chloe nodded. She understood. Some things, once broken, can never be mended. The thing to save now was not a man, but self-respect. Just then, Andrew jumped up as if stabbed. He lunged and wrapped his arms tightly around my legs, his voice hoarse, a near scream. Emily, I beg you, don't leave. I was wrong, I swear. I swear I'll end things with her immediately. I truly was wrong, darling. I stood still, then looked down at him with a gaze of utter tranquility. I pulled my leg free, not with force, but gently, as if shaking off a dead leaf. Stop it. Don't humiliate yourself further. Andrew, this is enough. Our feelings are dead. Now we only have the aftermath to deal with. I turned to Jane. Jane, I need you to handle this intern matter with the company. A person who severely violates internal ethics should not continue her internship, should she? And regarding Andrew's financial activities, Jane didn't need any further explanation. She nodded decisively. I understand. I will send the termination notice tomorrow, citing a severe violation of internal ethics. As for Andrew, I have all the evidence of financial fraud. Madison staggered, reeling like a drowning person, screaming in panic. No, please, Emily, don't do this. I have a future. I have a career ahead of me. I didn't look at her. I walked past as if she were a ghost, no longer relevant to my life. Your future should be built on competence and honesty, not on the ruins of someone else's marriage. Months passed. I chose to focus on my new beginnings. The phone rang. It was Chloe and Jane, standing in the bright new aesthetic clinic I had just opened. Emily, the clinic is absolutely beautiful, Chloe exclaimed. Your website interface has been trending on all the beauty forums. You have more online bookings than you ever did on your live streams. I laughed, smoothing down my dress. Thanks, sweetie. It's thanks to you for revamping the interface and adding those catchy trend lines. I was so worried at first. Jane looked around and smiled warmly. Congratulations, Emily. When women overcome a storm, they shine even brighter. I see you not only open a new business, but you have opened up your life again. I looked around the space at the display shelves filled with products I had personally selected. Every lipstick, powder, and serum was the result of my effort and sleepless nights over the past 3 months. I realized that sometimes losing something is an opportunity to rebuild everything better and stronger. Just then, the door opened again. A middle-aged woman walked in. Seeing me, she smiled brightly. Emily, oh my God, I finally meet you in person. I heard your story. You are so brave. The way you handled everything was so smart, and you saved your dignity. All the women in our group admire you so much. I was slightly surprised, then nodded gently. Thank you for visiting my clinic. I simply believe this. Before we want anyone to love us, we must first learn to love and respect ourselves. When we are strong enough, no one can easily hurt us, right? Many months passed. Everything felt like a whirlwind that had swept away what seemed like the most stable things in my life. Sometimes I still felt a pang of sadness recalling the 6 years we had. The dinners, the old texts, the memories that now looked like a chain of subtle lies. But I was no longer resentful. I no longer saw myself as a victim. I saw it as regret for a time of naivety, a naivety that made me believe love was enough. I looked down at the palm of my hand where the wedding ring was gone. All that remained was the rough skin from all the manual work I had been doing lately. Andrew and Madison must now understand the feeling of losing everything because of a minute of impulse, a stupid text message, a secret rendezvous, a wrong choice that was enough to cost them their entire future. But that was their choice. As for me, I chose a new beginning. I learned to let go, learned to stand up after falling, and most importantly, learned to cherish myself. True happiness doesn't come from a man. It starts from within, from the peace I created.